Bring that a little closer, thank you. Good evening. My name is Spencer Blackhart, and I am here to talk to you tonight because we are living in dangerous times. Oh yes, we are living in a time. Absolutely, whoever concurred with me, thank you. Danger, danger, absolutely. It's a very dangerous time. This is a time where the American dream is being called into question. Thanks to Comrade Obama's liberal policies, men at Goldman Sachs and other places have loaded away with billions of taxpayer dollars. Granted themselves these bonuses so that we can't get it back. It becomes a perfect crime. Now, obviously in November, the midterm elections are coming. We have a chance to take our country back. But who will we turn to? Certainly not the hippies in the Democratic or Republican parties. And don't be fooled by these people in the Tea Party. Any group that likes dressing up that much is not strictly heterosexual in nature. No, my friends. This is a time where a criminal mind is necessary. I stand before you today to declare, I am that mind. Allow me to present my resume. In 2008, I was CEO of Blackwell Enterprises, which offered the very best in consumer-driven business manufacturing. Now, nobody really knew what that meant. But with 3 hyphens, investors knew it had to be good, and they invested furiously. Now, in 2008, sadly, Blackwell Industries declared bankruptcy. Since there were no stated earnings, there was nothing to be seized. Yet the same year, I bought this very lovely yacht. In 2006, I was CFO of Fountainhead Credit Union, which offered not only a free credit card, but also a free t-shirt to anyone that would stop by our booth. Now, let me tell you, the number of people that will furnish their credit card information, current bank account, and social security number to a stranger on the street for a free t-shirt is nothing short of inspiring. Now, eventually the feds caught on to this and shut us down. However, fortunately at this time, on all paperwork, the head of Fountainhead Credit Union was my old neighbor Phil, who also could not resist that free t-shirt. Phil is still serving time. I, on the other hand, got a very lovely summer cottage out of the whole deal. Now, why have I been so successful? Because I understand business. Number 1, have a pitch. Number 2, have an offshore bank account. And number 3, have a fall guy. Now, some people call my practices cynical. Some even find them angering. And that's fine. There's nothing more American than anger. But the fact is, my friends, men like me are always going to beat the system. So whose side would you like me on? But Mr. Blackhart, if we elect you into our government, aren't you just going to defraud the nation? No! Not while I'm running it. A mugger doesn't take down people on his own street. You don't shit in your own backyard. There are other nations to defraud. Now, Latin America, defrauding them is practically a pastime, and I don't even know why else Canada is even there. But I digress, because honestly, my friends, I'm not here to talk to you about foreign policy, odd as it may seem. I'm not even here to talk to you about Arizona's immigration law, although I was dragging brown people across the border before it was cool. No, it is our domestic priorities that have taken the hugest assault under the liberals and the Obama and Bush administrations. Now let us first talk about healthcare, because it's been in the news so much in the last few months. Now, admittedly, the liberals have already pushed this down our throats. They've tried to give healthcare to everyone, but hope is not lost. We can still win this fight. Now, not a day goes by that I don't hear our Senator Barbara Boxer talking about how almost all of our federal costs go into treating people in the emergency rooms. She foolishly uses this as an excuse to give uninsured people health care. But there's a much simpler explanation. You take out the emergency room. Think of how many problems this will solve. Too long, my friends, have we fought Darwinism. This will also renew the entrepreneurial spirit, because I assure you, there is nothing more creative than a desperate person trying to avoid death. I can even see reality TV shows popping up. It's good for the entertainment industry. When you have a good idea, it truly raises all ships. I'd also like to mention briefly education spending, because I think we can all agree the liberals have had a stranglehold here for far too long. They keep calling children our greatest resource. How does that work? We feed them, we clothe them, We pay their doctor's bill. That's not a resource. That's the opposite of a resource.
Moochers!
Now, I've had many people tell me when I travel around this state that there's so much potential in children. They're our greatest potential. But before the state mandated that I was not allowed within 500 feet of any school, I did a lot of research into this subject, and let me tell you, they can barely add terrible attention spans, and as my tests conclusively proved, terrible wilderness survival skills. It is time to finally cut the cord and put the money where it's needed. I'm speaking, of course, of offshore drilling, which is why I'm proposing oil rigs up and down this state. Those bastards in Louisiana are getting it for free. It literally rolls in with the tides. Now environmentalists call this an environmental disaster. They keep saying it's an environmental disaster. But let me tell you something, okay? This was seawater. You couldn't drink it. This formerly useless water can now fuel my car and prevent birds from flying away when I decide it's duck season. This is not an environmental disaster. This is fucking holy water. But unfortunately, reining in spending and all of our domestic cuts are not going to solve all of our problems. We need to renew the entrepreneurial spirit in this country. And this is why I am returning to what was a pillar of my 2008 presidential campaign. For too long have we waged a costly drug war seeing no benefits. For too long have we imprisoned our own people in a desperate attempt to turn the tide. When I am in federal government, I am going to begin to sell all the drugs that we've been confiscating over the years. This will renew the entrepreneurial spirit. We are sitting on a mountain of cocaine, LSD, heroin, and I am going to assure you that when I am there, those resources are going to be used.
Back to the people!
This will renew the entrepreneurial spirit. This will bring us back to our great potential. What was I talking about? Oh, yes. Now I know what you're thinking. What can I do to help? How can I personally help this revolution take place? Well, the first thing is to vote for me in November in every box. Now, I understand there are some laws on the books. People keep telling me you can't hold multiple office, but this is not a problem. Because I assure you that Governor Blackhart's first act is going to be to sign State Senator Blackhart's bill so that I can send U.S. Senator Blackhart to Capitol Hill. It's foolproof. Now, in November, I want you all to speak out. I want you all to tell Meg Whitman and Jerry Brown that they do not have the creativity necessary to get us out of these problems. I want you to tell Carly Fiorina and Barbara Boxer that we deserve a senator who doesn't lose their mind once a month. And I want you all to remember that this election, as all elections, is about convictions. And having been convicted 8 times, I have far more than any other candidate. Thank you very much for coming, and thank you to Mr. Lindbergh for inviting me.